West. Hey, I'm a UPK nigga, I'm stuck in my ways. That's on them, letting cowards fill up they ranks. Goddamn, lost tribes got them following waves. Loyalty a lifestyle, nigga, I'm just saying. Yeah, I'm a saint, no New Orleans, it's going up. Next spot, we at the B&B. I'm turned up, I pull up in the SRT. Burning rubber, hey, UPK shit. Look, met her at the club, told her pull up to the lobby. She know I'm in the coat, we're all black, no Illuminati. This my other half shit, I can't move without it. These my motherfucking brothers, yeah, what I'm gonna do without them, yeah. If it's beef, I can't wait to sink my teeth in. Niggas going overboard, they off the deep end. Why you tripping off that hoe? That's some weak shit. Told him put me in the game cause I love defense. Yeah, put me in the game, coach. Fuck you thought, he let his colors fly. He ain't cut, we cut him off. Yeah, bounce out, let my fringes swing. Yeah, I'm a dog, and she say she find me interesting. Yeah, want me to call, put me in the game, coach. Fuck you thought, he let his colors fly. He ain't cut, we cut him off. Hey, bounce out, let my fringes swing. Yeah, I'm a dog, and she say she find me interesting. Yeah, want me to call, I ain't gotta settle, I got options, ma. No, I stand on business, my name not Tazar. I'll pop you with this pocket rock. Feed a nigga shells like a taco truck. Hey, this bitch got sound effects, it go I ain't trippin' on no drink, got bottles in the room. I'm in Durham, North Carolina, bitch, it's 12 a.m. Look at them, they ain't none of us and we ain't them. I told him put me in the game, coach. Fuck you thought, he let his colors fly. He ain't cut, we cut him off. Hey, bounce out, let my fringes swing. Yeah, I'm a dog, she say she find me interesting. Yeah, want me to call, put me in the game, coach. Fuck you thought, he let his colors fly. He ain't cut, we cut him off. Hey, bounce out, let my fringes swing. Yeah, I'm a dog, she say she find me interesting. Want me to call, yeah. UPK shit, man, you already know what it is. It's the 55th annual Passover, man, turn up. We gon' do this shit the UPK way, not the other way. You hear me? Yeah.
Hey, shalom, Israel. You live with the Israelite School UPK. Priest and Captain Soccer War holding down the class live from Memphis, Tennessee. Every Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday, we have classes here in Memphis from 6 to 8 p.m. Central Standard Time. You brothers and sisters tuning in. You got family, loved ones, people you care about. Get them in contact with the ISUPK. So lock your bit with me. School address here in Memphis is 3000 Walnut Grove Road, Suite 215. Again, 3000 Walnut Grove Road, Suite 215 is the address. The calling number to the school is 901-249-0085. Matter of fact, do me a favor, Barack. Call that number right quick. Call 901-249-0085. I got a message today. Somebody said the number was down. But that's the calling number to the school, 901-249-0085. If you got family, loved ones, people you care about, get them in contact with the ISUPK. Since 1969, we have been teaching so-called blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians the truth according to the Bible. What is the truth? The truth is that so-called blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians descend from the greatest people that have ever walked the face of the earth. The Bible identifies us as the lost 12 tribes of the nation of Israel. And in the year 2024, there is nothing more important than for God's chosen people to learn the truth of who we are, where we come from, and what our purpose is on the earth. 901-249-0085. It ain't even dollar. Okay. Don't worry, I'll get with it. I'll check out the class. With that being said, we like to have these classes to give brothers and sisters an opportunity to go into this book called the Bible, to gain the knowledge, wisdom, and understanding that the Most High has placed inside of this book in order to facilitate us coming back to being the people that he called us to be, reclaiming our righteous place on the earth as kings, priests, princesses, and daughters of Zion. With that being said, I'd like to start the class off with questions. If any brothers or sisters have questions in the classroom, all you gotta do is raise your hand. If you have any questions online, all you have to do is type your questions in. And if there are no questions, we're going to go into the topic of tonight's class, which is preparing for the Passover. All right. Preparing for the Passover. As most of you all know, if you're in the truth, been around the truth, what's coming up in about a week now is the most prestigious and important high holy day of the Israelite year. It occurs 2 weeks after the beginning of the month. On the 14th day at sundown, we celebrate the Lord's Passover. The Lord's Passover is the celebration of the night the Most High visited the children of Israel in the land of Egypt and delivered us from the hand of the Egyptians by killing the firstborn of everything that lived in Egypt that was not protected by the sacrifice of lamb with the blood splattered on the doorposts. Everybody understands? So there was a great slaughter that occurred the night of the Passover that facilitated the children of Israel being delivered or sent away from the face of the Egyptians. And it's a great, really a pivotal moment in the Bible because from the day of the Passover, started the exodus of the children of Israel out of Egypt and began the process of us becoming our own nation. And it wasn't until the Most High, through this hugely violent um, uh, nation-altering event, that the children of Israel found the necessity to create their own nation, to find their own land, to have their own rules and their own laws to govern themselves. Prior to the Passover, Israel was completely content and satisfied with living as second-class citizens under the Egyptians. It wasn't until the Most High moved on Egypt that Israel found it necessary to be their own people. Everybody understands? Cool. And that's important for us to remember in these times that we're living in today, because once again, the children of Israel find themselves as second and third class citizens in a great nation. And it seems like nothing that happens, nothing that occurs, no matter what befalls us as a people in this place, we don't see the necessity to become our own nation. We don't see why it's important to have our own rules and our own laws and our own government. And so just as it was in the days of the Passover thousands of years ago, it's in the days of America today where the children of Israel are going to require a great violent act from the Most High in order to sever us from the bowing before our oppressors. So I want to talk about that tonight and just give brothers and sisters a little bit of a reminder of what exactly it is we're celebrating when we celebrate the Passover and why it is we must take heed to the lesson the Lord established for us in this in the Bible. All right, Barack, you had a question?
So you said when we was living as second class citizens, when we came up first, when Joseph came, and we started to prosper as a people. Now we left with 600,000, right? As far as men, right, fighting men. Is there like an accurate number somewhere around, like how many of us probably?
No, you're not going to be able to get an accurate number because, okay, understand this. Children of Israel leaving out of Egypt were leaving as same way you look at blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians today.
Right.
While we were in Egypt, we weren't one children of Israel, one nation of Israel. Coming out of Egypt, we were the Hebrews. We were those other people.
Come on.
You understand? And so leaving out of Egypt, Egypt didn't look at it like, oh, there goes the children of Israel leaving the land. The Egyptians looked at it like, look at all of these others gathering together to leave out of Egypt. Just today, you look at blacks and Hispanics, right? And the way we're viewed by our oppressor.
Right.
We aren't viewed as one nation of people.
Right.
We're viewed as black people descended from slavery, Native Americans still living in America, people from the Caribbean, people we're looked at as immigrants. So we're not viewed as the Israelite problem. We're viewed as all these other people who aren't Americans. That's how we were in Egypt.
Right.
So there wouldn't be an accurate account of how many Israelites left because we weren't even looked at as Israelites.
Okay. Gotcha.
We weren't even referred to as Israelites.
Gotcha.
The term Israelite ain't something that came about until later. You understand what I'm saying?
Right,
When we established ourselves as a nation.
Right.
At that time, we was just those others.
Okay, come on.
So they wouldn't have given an accurate account of us. And also, you remember when we got into the wilderness, the Bible refers to us as a mixed multitude.
Right.
People that don't know the Bible thinks that mixed multitude is different races of people. Not understanding that it's the 12 tribes of Israel, but with all of our various beliefs and our various political allegiances and different sects that we were divided into.
Right.
So the mixed multitude wasn't even a nation of people.
Right.
It was just a bunch of non-Americans. We were a bunch of non-Egyptians that ran out of Egypt.
Gotcha.
But all of us together in Egypt, we was the working class. We were the ones who drove the buses and took out the trash and worked in the field, cutting down picking the fruits and the vegetables. We were the ones that worked in all of the houses, starting the fires for the masters, or we're looking after the animals. We were those people. The same role we play in society today, we played then.
Okay.
Same way we were the entertainers in Egypt. We were their athletes. We were the ones that played in all of their athletic competitions and competed in all of their games. We're the ones that acted in their movies and sang the songs they like to hear sung and danced all the dances that they like, the same way we do it in America today.
Okay, come on.
Come on with it.
Okay, because I saw a documentary. That gave me clarity on it, because I saw a documentary, and I think I saw something else as far as some people speaking on the street, and they were saying that from what the quote-unquote scholars were saying is it looked like a bunch of different peoples and tribes that was leaving with, I guess, the so-called Israelites to make it the Israelite nation.
Mm-hmm.
So they were saying like everybody kind of like left out of Egypt at the same time with us that wasn't Israelites too, but they, I guess, amalgamated and became Israelites.
Don't even think amalgamated. Just think today, if there was an exodus of people out of America.
Right.
Leading the charge would be black people. Mm-hmm. Black people would say, we leaving America. We done with this white man. We done with this evil, right? Guess who's going to follow? The Jamaicans coming too.
Right.
The Haitians are coming too. Gotcha. The Puerto Ricans going to say, hey, Papa, you can't leave us here. Mm-hmm. The Dominicans going to say, yo, Papa, we with y'all. And America going to look at it like all these foreign nations have left, when really it's all the people who they had enslaved.
Right.
All the people who they subjugated, all the people who they stole their identity, stole their language, their culture. That's our relation. That's what relates us. Even today, in America, the blacks, Hispanics, the Native Indians, we are related because of the oppression we've suffered.
Right. Because
of the curse that this system has been on us. Okay. So as we go to break away from America, who wants to break away from America? Who wants to leave this place? The people who downtrodden, the people who beat down. So as we go to leave, America's going to say all these nations have, this multitude of nations have left. No, it's the children of Israel. Gotcha. Everybody understand? And so I want to go through a couple of scriptures concerning where we were in the Passover, and then bring an understanding for us today to know that the way that we left Egypt after the first Passover is always the way that we prepare to go celebrate the Passover. Everybody understand? All right, so the first scripture we're going to go to is Leviticus chapter 23. We're going to go to verse 7. All right, come, Leviticus 23 and 7.
Leviticus chapter 23, verse 7. In the first day ye shall have a holy convocation. Ye shall do no servile work within, or therein, Salaki.
Start at verse 4. Salaki. Leviticus 23 and 4. My bad.
Leviticus chapter 23, verse 4. There are the feasts of let me see, Yahweh the Lord.
This is up to you, huh?
There are the feasts of Yahweh, even holy convocations, which ye shall proclaim in their seasons. In the 14th day of the first month at even is Yahweh's Passover. And on the 15th day of the same month is the feast of unleavened bread unto Yahweh. 7 days ye must eat unleavened bread. In the first day ye shall have a holy convocation. Ye shall do no servile work therein.
Everybody understands. So the Passover is the first high holy day that was given to the children of Israel and demanded for us to remember it. Everybody understand? And followed by the feast of the Passover is the Feast of Unleavened Bread. The Feast of Unleavened Bread is a 7-day feast that is meant to remind us of the struggle and the difficulty that we faced leaving out of Egypt. Everybody understands? And so when you prepare for the Passover to celebrate the Feast of Unleavened Bread, you have to remove all the leavening out of your house. Everybody understands? For a week, you have to have all the leavening out of your house. What is leavening? Leaven is what is put inside of bread products to make it rise or puff up. Everybody understands? So where do you find yeast? You find yeast in bread. You find yeast in flour tortillas. You find yeast in Doritos or any type of chips that you might have. Triscuits, Ritz crackers. You find Doritos inside of, you find leaven inside of Cheerios. You understand? Any of them cereals that's puffed up. Any type of potato chips that got that like cheese puffs, Cheetos, cheese puffs. Anything that fluffs up cake, cupcakes, you'll find leaven in. Also, leaven is in baking soda. Everybody understands? So you have to prepare for the Passover. You want to get all of the leavening out of your house and keep the leavening out of your house for a week. Everybody understand? All right. Let me go ahead and get that scripture for you. Go ahead.
I got 2 questions actually.
Come on with it.
So when it comes to, all right, so it says that in the 14th day of the first month, right? Mm-hmm. So we know that our first month starts in late March, early April, or through April?
It could be either in March or April, but it's always based off of the cycles of the moon.
Okay, come on.
Go ahead.
Not us, but is it wrong for us to try to not figure it out, but because I know we got people in here.
Yeah.
But is it wrong for us to keep track of those things, keep track of the moon, keep track of the stars?
No, it's there to keep time. That's why the Lord put them there.
So anybody could do that, but it's just not crazy, pretty much.
Yeah, it's nothing wrong with keeping track of time. Keeping track of time is not worshiping the moon.
Right.
You understand? That's people on the earth, the way that we navigated, the way that we knew where to go and where we were in the world was based off of where the sun and the moon were in the sky. It's practical to recognize the sun and the moon, right. To look at the stars, to look at them and worship them as God, to personify them is worship. Okay. What is personification? Personification is giving a living quality to something that has no life. Right. You understand? Right. Rappers that rap about weed, mm-hmm. They're personifying weed.
Right.
The song Mary Jane. Scarface is worshiping weed. Right. This whole song is about a blunt, but he's calling it Mary.
Right.
And I love you, and you make me feel so good, and you never let me down. You're always there for me. Right. Who the fuck you talking to? The weed ain't. What are you talking about?
I see what you mean.
Growing up as kids, celebrating Christmas, the song "Old Christmas Tree." Right. Old Christmas tree, old Christmas tree. What the fuck are you talking about? The tree ain't listening. It's a tree.
Oh. Right.
Right. Praise the sun. Oh, the sun's beautiful and shining bright and warm my skin. You're always there for me. You rise every day. Why are you talking to the sun, my nigga? He not listening.
Right.
That's worship.
Come.
You understand? And you can't worship anything but the Most High.
So come on. So we know we do these things throughout our daily life, right? Uh-huh. Let's say the car ain't starting. You hitting the damn pedal. You like, come on, car. And then it starts. You like, ooh, thank you.
Okay, that's personification.
Is that worship?
Okay. Don't think that's not worshiping, but that shows you how easily people give life to things that ain't alive.
Right.
True. Niggas name their car.
True.
Niggas talk to their car. Come on, baby. Yep. I got you, girl. I'm gonna throw some new feet on. Throw some new shoes on her. Yeah. We personify. That's human nature.
Right.
To personify things.
Right.
But that's the thin line that leads into worship.
Oh, gosh.
You understand? Don't give qualities to things that don't deserve them. You understand? You could do that with a woman. Right. You could personify a woman as God. Personify a vagina as heaven.
Right. True.
And that's what we do.
Yep.
Don't do that. Be careful with that. It's better to just not do it at all. You understand? As opposed to trying to walk that line.
Right. Come on.
Your car won't start. Ask the Most High.
Right.
Please, Lord. I gotta get this job. I get to work. Please don't do me like this right now. Sometimes you do. I know that light been on for about 2 weeks.
Right.
I'm gonna get to the mechanic. Please don't do this to me right now. Do that. Don't talk to the car. Everybody understand?
It's like the last one.
Come on with it.
So, and also when we talking about, still based on the same question, like we dealing with the 14th day of the first month.
Mm-hmm.
So the how many months or days is it within our months?
Okay, so that's from the calendar that we keep goes from new moon to new moon. The new moon in the Bible is when the moon is dark in the sky.
Right.
You can't see it because the light from the sun is not reflecting off of it.
Right.
Now, the reason why we used to have a new moon celebration in Israel is because you needed priests and men who were learned to be able to find the moon in the sky when it was dark. Try it sometime soon.
Right.
Go and try to find the moon in the sky when it ain't shining. That is damn near impossible, especially today with light pollution and all the things that stop us from seeing the sky the way it used to be seen.
Right.
You can't find the moon when it's dark in the sky. So there used to be priests whose job it was to locate the new moon. And when they would locate it, they would sound an alarm to let everybody know. They would blow a trumpet, and everybody hearing the trumpet knew today is the beginning of the month.
Gosh.
That's why the new moon was a thing in Israel, because you can't see it. Nobody knows when it's there, but the men who's the meteorologists, if you want to call them that,
right,
they the ones that track the moon. They alert everybody today is the new moon. And that starts the beginning of the cycle of a little slither of light on the moon at night. Then it gets a little bit bigger. Then you get half the moon.
Right.
Then you get the full moon. That's the middle of the month. Then you start to get less and less of the moon. Then you get a quarter of the moon. Then it's dark again. Somebody got to find the moon and tell the people today is the new month. Then they sound the trumpet. That's what the order of operations was in our nation. It needed to be celebrated because couldn't anybody just look up and say, oh, they're the moon. It's the new moon. So anybody teaching that the new moon is the full moon don't know what the hell they're talking about.
I heard that. I have heard that.
They don't know what they're talking about. Also, the moon cycles is different than the sun. In a year, you may have 13 moon cycles. There are certain years you don't count the 13th moon. So that's an Israelite thing to know. When do we start the new year? Because some years it's 12, some years it's 13. The reason why you have some Israelites celebrating the Passover in March, in February, is because they don't know how to keep track of time. They think it's 12 moon cycles and then the new Passover. If you went by 12 every year, the Passover would get a month shorter every year. There's some years, the Bible gives you a blueprint on you have to account for an extra moon cycle. So that's how we know the priests in the UPK that keep track of when the Passover is, they know when you had that 13th month and when you don't. Everybody understand?
Come on.
All right. Real quick, let's get Exodus chapter 12. Hold on. Man, Salaki, I thought this is it. Hold on. All right, this is Exodus chapter 13, verse 7.
Come on. Exodus chapter 13, verse 7. Unleavened bread shall be eaten 7 days, and there shall no leavened bread be seen with thee. Neither shall there be leaven seen with thee in all thy quarters.
Everybody understand? So that's where you have to get the leavening out of your house. The leaven can't be with you or seen in your quarters. So in preparation for the Passover, you want to make sure that you get all the leavening out of your house before the day of the Passover and keep it out of your house for a week. Everybody understand? So for those of you got groceries at the crib, you ain't got to throw the food in the trash or throw it away. Put it in the bag, put it outside in the garage, put it in the trunk of the car. Everybody understands? You got a deep freezer somewhere. Put it in a deep freezer. You know what I'm saying? You want to just get it out of your house. Everybody understands? I had a brother call me asking about family in the world that don't obey the Bible, don't obey the Lord at all. Take your leavening over to their house. Sit it over in their crib. Everybody understands? The brother was concerned about whether or not that's putting sin on someone else. You can't put sin on someone who's already committed to being a sinner. Everybody understands? They're doing evil regardless. They ain't even contemplating or focusing or concentrating on the Lord. Everybody understands? Come on, Ash.
Like that go the same with pork too. I think, you know what I mean?
Okay.
Like I get my dogs in because it's cheap. $1 for some hot dogs and carrying on. But if I grab the wrong thing, like somebody had sent me Walmart, put the wrong shit in my thing, delivery. And the pork, was it cool for me to give it to my bro? He was like, he wanted to take it. You know what I'm saying? It's like
he eating pork anyway.
Yeah.
You're not sinning by giving him the pork.
Okay.
Hey, I got some free food. Now, okay. Barack just said, "Oh, we go to do a food giveaway, right? We not serving no pork.
Right.
We go to help to the people. When you're teaching in those moments, you're functioning as a priest. Everybody understand? But to throw away food rather than give it to someone who's needy, give it to someone who's needy. Okay. They're sinning anyway. It's the difference between giving a bum $1, knowing he's gonna go buy a cigarette, versus you buying the cigarette for him.
Okay.
So I'm not buying you no cigarette out. I ain't. Nah, you shouldn't be smoking, brother. That's wrong. You shouldn't be smoking. Come on, man. Let me get $1, get something to eat. All right, here you go. He take the $1, go buy a cigarette. Man, that's on him.
Right, gotcha.
The brother down bad, he needy. I give him $1. That's what he do with the $1. That's on him.
Right.
He's a sinner. He gonna sin anyway. Everybody understand?
Oh my God.
Now, I'm not contributing to it. I'm not buying it for him. I'm not getting the cigarette and giving it to him, making it seem like it's okay for me saying he can have it, but he gonna do it anyway. Do what you're gonna do. Okay. You understand?
All right, but real, me and her was talking about this. My mama had came down and she wanted some Memphis ribs. We ain't from. I got her some. Is that I ain't eating.
Your mama's gonna eat them ribs no matter what.
Okay.
Your mama's gonna go eat the Memphis ribs.
Yeah,
she want the Memphis ribs. She been dying for some Memphis ribs.
Right.
Go ahead, Ma. Eat the ribs. It's the same as if you lived in your mother's house, right? Your mother's a sinner. They all kind of pork and everything everywhere. Yeah. Still, you keep the leaven out of your room. You can't go in the kitchen and throw all the leaven out the house. You just make sure ain't no leaven in your room. You not eating none of it. The Lord sees what you're doing. The Lord understands and knows. You understand? And some things in life, you have to know, I'm doing what's right. I know I'm doing what's right. Pray the Lord see you and deal with you on it that way. Everybody understands. There's other things you know you're wrong. The Lord will deal with you on that too. Everybody understands. But that's that, and that part of preparing for the Passover, you will get all the leavening out of your house, all right? What is the Passover today? The Passover was given to us as a holy convocation for us to remember, to once a year, everybody come together and celebrate and remember what it is that the Lord did for the children of Israel and bringing us out of the land of Egypt. What other implications does the Passover have for the children of Israel today? When I say implications, meaning what good does it do us? What purpose does it serve? Why is this something that the Most High commanded for us to always remember and to never forget? What could the Lord have wanted for Israel by giving us this high holy day? Barack.
I kind of hate to relate to this, but I remember one time you called it like a family reunion, right?
Mm-hmm.
And not that part, but I remember the thing that what it is you know how when Christians go to church on that Sunday and they'll be like, "Oh, I'm rejuvenated for the week."
Mm-hmm.
That's the kind of same thing that Passover does, I guess, for me.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it makes me feel like, yo, I can do this thing for another 100 years.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? Like, whatever it takes to, like, build a brotherhood or be with brothers or see brothers, like, it puts another spirit on you than what you had if you just had to constantly work. You don't get to really see your brothers. Mm-hmm. It's just like how Christians get to have their holidays. Mm-hmm. This is a major holiday for us where we can get excited and say, you know, I can finally meet my brothers and see my brothers again.
Okay.
Like, they do that for, you know what I'm saying?
Most High Christ. How is that any different than a family reunion?
That's a good ass question.
Meaning this, right? The Most High required us once a year to come together, to gather with one another, and naturally, inevitably, that's going to give you the reminder you need that you ain't the only one going through what you're going through. Like us gathering together, that the Passover is designed to remind us all that we're not alone. To remind us all that whatever you're going through, wherever you're struggling, your brothers and your sisters are going through it too.
Right.
And being able to get to the Passover and then gather together absolutely does renew your spirit. It does rejuvenate you because all the things that you've been struggling with, they go away for that time.
Right. Definitely.
It's like, what have I been complaining? What have I been complaining about? What am I going through that's so difficult that this doesn't help?
Right.
This doesn't make it better. You understand? And that's necessary in life because without that reason to keep not a reason to keep going on, but without that reminder, it's easy to get lost in the troubles of your life. It's easy to get drowned by all the worries and consumed by all the difficulties. Man, but getting around your brothers and your sisters and being able to just remember why you're here and what you're a part of and what you're doing, that'll recharge you to be able to face whatever it is you got to face. Everybody understands? That's what it was the night of the Passover. You got to think about the condition that Israel was in at that time and what we were going through as a people. We were a people who were being extremely oppressed by Pharaoh, heightened oppression. It wasn't just normal oppression, heightened oppression because of all the curses that the Lord had put on Egypt. Pharaoh's heart got hard, and he constantly stepped up the oppression and stepped up the levels of difficulty on our day-to-day lives to where by the time the Passover came, man, we was praying for a way out.
Right.
Praying for the Lord to deliver us. This place that gets so unbearable, please, Lord, deliver us. And then that night when we all gathered together, when we sacrificed that lamb, when we ate that food, when we put on those warlike garments, we were ready to do whatever together, whether we going to die, right, whether we was going to have to go fight and kill. Right. And then that night, the Lord came and delivered us.
Because they didn't know what the Lord was about to do.
They did not know what the Lord was about to do. Moses had not given anybody, the Lord had not given anyone a heads up on what he was going to do that night. Everybody understands. And so all the people knew was if you want the suffering to end, if you want this hell that we're in to stop, then guess what we got to do? We got to obey the Lord. Do what the Lord said to do. Here's what the Most High said to do if we want to escape this evil. If we're going to escape this place. Everybody understands? Let me go ahead and get that for you. Let me see something. Let's get Exodus chapter 12.
Can I ask a question?
Come on with it.
Okay, come on. So is it a difference between the Lord hardening Pharaoh's heart and Pharaoh hardening his own heart?
What do you mean?
Because I think the scriptures kind of like said it like the Lord hardened his heart at one point.
Mm-hmm.
But then it also says Pharaoh hardened his heart. He hardened his own heart.
All right, so what's the difference?
I mean, the Lord doing one and Pharaoh doing it. I mean, because I'm trying to figure out the point of it. Like, why? I mean, the Lord would do it. Is it just to get us away?
Okay. Don't think why the Lord was doing it. Think of what is the Lord doing it. What is the Lord hardening someone's heart?
It's like making them like blind. Like
no, this is important. No, this is important. The question you asked was, what's the difference between the Lord hardening Pharaoh's heart, right, and Pharaoh hardening his own heart? Right? What's the difference between you choosing to do something and the Lord making something happen? Think about your life. Think about things that you've done, the things that you've done under your own will, and things that happen because the Lord made them happen.
Okay.
The Lord hardened Pharaoh's heart. This is for anybody that's tuning in.
Is that emotion?
It's exactly what it is.
Okay.
It's exactly what it is. The Lord hardened Pharaoh's heart. Pharaoh wasn't logical about this anger. Pharaoh didn't think it through and say, these children of Israel, man, they made this. They didn't have nothing to do with this. What could they have to do with the frogs in the river turning to blood?
Right.
These people ain't had nothing to do with that. That's nature. That's something wild going on.
Right.
Pharaoh immediately, the river turned to blood. Make them niggas now take away the damn mortar and make them niggas have to make bricks on their own. Gosh. Pharaoh's reaction was not logical.
Right.
It was emotional. It was Moses think he going to beat me? Mm-hmm. Curse the Israelites further. Make their bondage harder. It's just like today. You get all these brothers and sisters at the border trying to get into America. Their countries are being destroyed and being decimated. Esau knows that he's to blame for all the troubles in their countries. These people are fleeing, trying to find a way out. And Esau says, throw them and their kids in cages at the border, divide their families. That's not a logical. Turn on the news and look at the conversation around blacks and Hispanics today. It's not a logical conversation. The problems and the solutions they're coming up with is not logical solutions. No. This is something that's spiritual. It's emotional driven. Right. Fuck these niggas. Fuck these spicks. Excuse my language. No. That's the spirit. Lord is hardening their heart. They aren't choosing to hate black people. They don't even know why they hate black people. But they hate is real. And it's strong. You understand? That's the Lord hardening Pharaoh's heart. Pharaoh's anger towards Israel had nothing to do with anything an Israelite ever did. So where did it come from? Why was he so mad? Why did he charge the Israelites? The Lord hardened his heart. Something inside of Pharaoh said, curse them niggas. Make their bondage harder. Make they work harder. You know what? Them niggas ain't even working hard enough. Moses asking you to let them go in the wilderness to celebrate to worship their God. Fuck their God. Make them niggas work harder. That's the Lord hardening Pharaoh's heart.
Right.
The thoughts in his mind caused him to react off of what he felt. That's the Lord.
Okay, because he could have waved Moses off as like some crazy nigga stumping his staff in a river turning his blood, right? I mean,
he could, but the Lord hardened his heart.
Right.
He could not rationalize it. He could not.
Right.
He was consumed with emotion. Moses challenged him, and because of that, I'm going to punish his people. He couldn't punish Moses. Hell, he could have just said, round Moses up. Right. Go grab that nigga. Let's kill that nigga. That's true. He wanted to kill the whole nation of people. He wanted to hurt the whole nation of people. That's the Lord hardening Pharaoh's heart. Everybody understands? Come on. Let's get Exodus chapter 11. All right? Exodus chapter 11. As you get Exodus 11, I want you to start at verse 1.
Come on, sir. It's the book of Exodus, chapter 11, verse 1. And the Lord said unto Moses, yet will I bring one plague more upon Pharaoh and upon Egypt. Afterwards, he will let you go here. When he shall let you go, he shall surely thrust you out here altogether. Verse 2. Speak now in the ears of the people, and let every man borrow of his neighbor, and every woman of her neighbor, jewels of silver and jewels of gold. And the Lord gave people favor in the sight of the Egyptians. Moreover, the man Moses was very great in the land of Egypt, in the sight of Pharaoh's servants, and in the sight of the people. And Moses said, thus says the Lord, about midnight will I go into the midst of Egypt, and all the firstborn in the land of Egypt shall die, from the firstborn of Pharaoh that sit upon his throne, even unto the firstborn of the maidservant that is behind the mill, and all the firstborn of the beasts. And there shall be a great cry throughout all the land of Egypt, such as there was none like it, nor shall be any more. But against any of the children of Israel shall not a dog move his tongue against man or beast, that you may know how the Lord do put difference between the Egyptians and Israel. And all these thy servants shall come down unto me and bow down themselves unto me, saying, Get thee out, and all the people that follow thee, and after that I will go out. And he went out from Pharaoh in a great anger. 9. And the Lord said unto Moses, Pharaoh shall not hearken unto you, that my wonders may be multiplied in the land of Egypt. And Moses and Aaron did all these wonders before Pharaoh, and the Lord hardened Pharaoh's heart, so that he would not let the children of Israel go out of his land.
All right, everybody, does everybody understand what's happening here?
Con. I definitely got a question, though.
Come on, tell me what's happening first. Oz, you just read it.
Con. So what's happening right here is.
Now, hold on. So, like, let Oz
Okay,
answer. See Oz understand what just happened.
Con, sir.
Okay. It sounded like Moses was breaking down what was about to go down.
Who was Moses breaking it down to?
To the few children of Israel.
No.
Yeah. Oh,
From verse.
Because I remember he said it.
So look, from verse 1 to 3 is the Lord telling Moses what to tell the people to do.
Right. He started.
From verse 5 down is Moses talking to Pharaoh.
Okay.
You understand?
Yeah.
Moses is telling Pharaoh about midnight, the Lord is going to come through and kill all the firstborn of Egypt.
So he telling the people this.
No.
Oh, come on, from 1 to 4.
From 1 to 4, Moses is telling the people, go down to all of your neighbors that's not Israelites.
Right.
Borrow from them. Jewels, gold, silver, whatever they have. Go borrow from them so you get some money. Go borrow a bunch of money, right? That's what he's telling them to do. Then Moses is going to Pharaoh at the same time and saying, tonight, the Lord is going to visit Egypt. The Lord is going to destroy the firstborn from Pharaoh all the way down to the little peasant. And you're going to thrust us out of this land, and all of your servants going to come and going to bow down to us, and they're going to plead for us to leave this land. That's what Moses is telling Pharaoh. You understand? And that's why at the end of verse 8 it says, and he went out from Pharaoh in a great anger, meaning after Moses finished speaking this, he went out and Pharaoh was angry. Moses left out from telling Pharaoh all these things. Pharaoh was mad as hell. Verse 9, and the Lord saying to Moses, Pharaoh not going to listen to anything you just said. Pharaoh is going to come down harder on you. I'm going to harden his heart. Everybody understands. And he's not going to let the children of Israel go. So from verse 1 down to the end from verse 10, there's 3 different things happening.
Right.
From 1 to 4, the Lord is telling Moses what to go tell the children of Israel.
Right.
Then Moses is before Pharaoh, telling Pharaoh what's about to happen.
Right.
Then Moses leaves from before Pharaoh, and the Lord tells Moses, that nigga ain't finna listen to nothing you just said.
That's crazy.
So prepare to leave. Everybody understand?
Come.
Now that we understand what we just read, right?
Right.
Where was the mindset of the children of Israel at this time? Because Pharaoh's heart had been hardened. Pharaoh had come down even harder and even worse with the punishments and with the rigor from the slavery, the jobs that we had. He put more pressure on us on these jobs, and we're fed up. We're tired of it. We recognize it now that we enslaved. We're recognizing now that we are being oppressed, and we're crying out and we're praying to the Lord, asking the Lord to relieve us of this pressure. Everybody understands?
Come.
And this is now the Lord giving Moses the solution.
Come.
Understand this. The Passover would not have been possible if it wasn't for the Lord hardening Pharaoh's heart all those times before.
Right.
Because if it wasn't for the increase in the oppression, the children of Israel would not have turned to the Lord. So if it wasn't for the condition in Egypt being so horrible, why would anybody listen to Moses?
Right. True.
Moses said, go borrow from your neighbors. Why would anybody borrow? We got money, Moses. We good. I don't need to borrow. What you talking about? You tripping. These people were down bad. These people was on their last leg. And so Moses telling them to go borrow from your neighbors was, okay, we're going to listen to what Moses said to do. Right. Moses saying to sacrifice the lamb was, okay, we're going to listen to what Moses said to do. We're going to keep reading in chapter 12. These people didn't have no lambs to sacrifice. Right. They ain't had no food to be wasting. Kill a lamb for what? What are you talking about? We broke. Moses had them borrow that money so that when he told them to go get the lamb, they would be able to do it. They would have the ability to do it. Moses rising to leadership was a direct result of us being so oppressed that we willing to listen to whoever gonna tell us what to do. But if things would have been okay, if it wasn't for the pressure, if it wasn't for the oppression, if it wasn't for the heightened evil against us, why would we have turned to the Lord?
True.
You understand?
Come.
Now think about your life right now. Think about where you are and what you're going through. Why is the Passover every year such a relief? Why is being there with all those brothers and sisters such rejuvenation for your spirit? Because life in this place beats you down. This world gets to you all the time. And it's constantly small things. As men, we learn to deal with it. We adapt to it. But your spirit is always being drained, always being challenged. The oppression is always kicking your ass to the point where the week before the Passover, you're crawling to make it there. Crawling to get with your brothers and with your sisters because everything in your life is just telling you, man, fuck it. It don't even matter. It does matter. It's a huge weight off of your shoulders to be able to make it there to be with your brothers and your sisters. It's a huge charge for your spirit to be able to be in that place. And everything in life is going to try and stop you from getting there. Everything in life is going to try and tell you, man, you can't make it. Don't even worry about it. It's going to be all right. Maybe it will. Man, maybe it won't. Yeah. Everybody understands. And so the Passover is, because it's so much it needed for your spirit, it's going to be a battle for you to get there. It's going to be a fight for you to make it. The same way it was a fight for us to make it to the night of the first Passover. The same way we had to struggle and toil and it looked like it's impossible, the Lord will do something amazing. But it's going to require you to trust in Him. It's going to require you to obey. It's going to require you to sacrifice. Everybody understand? What was your question, Barack?
It was in verse 3. Okay, I just wanted to know how was Moses able to be like great in the land of Egypt with all of this going on? Like, what do they mean by that? Because like he says he gave the people favor in the sight of the Egyptians, right?
Mm-hmm.
And it said that he became great in the land of Egypt. Like, how I'm trying to see like what was why didn't Pharaoh, you know what I'm saying, like X Moses out, or like what? How did he get big in the land? Like the same thing with Christ when he was in the Roman times.
Mm-hmm.
Like everybody knew his name, but they were still trying to kill him. Or was he having to duck off? How was he going to visit Pharaoh with all of this still happening? Yet it still have a big name. You know what I'm saying? Nobody not touch him. Like, because I'm thinking about trying to relate it to the day.
Mm-hmm.
Like, how could anybody do anything here in America, still have a big name, and not get knocked off? Okay.
Two things, right? The first thing is when the Lord is with you, what's the scripture? When a man's ways please the Lord, he'll make even his enemies to be at peace with him. Pharaoh, again, the Lord hardened Pharaoh's heart. Not against Moses, but against the children of Israel. Also, when you're an oppressor, right? Or you're someone who's in a high seat of authority and you're dealing with rebellion, right? If you kill the rebel leader, you can make him a martyr. You can give more power to the rebellion by taking out the leader. Sometimes you have to just let the rebellion run its course. You understand? With Christ being on the earth, remember when the Pharisees and Sadducees were deciding what to do about Christ, they had a council. Right. And in the council, let's pull it up right quick, all right? This is important, all right? Let's get
it's in John. He said it's better from the
Yeah, John. Let's get John chapter 11. All right. Hold on. Hold on. Hold on. Salaki, hold on. Man,
50.
what you got?
11 and 50.
Nah, okay. I got 11, but this ain't the one that I wanted. Let's read this one. But there's another one where it says, they talk about the other men who had rebellions and the other men who raised up men.
His name was Jesus too, right?
Nah, it was well, it might have been. It might have been, but there's another cat. I'm trying to think of the name. It's not Nathan. It's a name that was said where another cat raised up brothers and followed him. And then when he was fell, his work came to nothing.
I know exactly what you're talking about. Acts chapter 5.
What you got?
5 and 37. Let me see if that's it. And after this man rose up Judas of Galilee in the days of taxing and drew away much people after him. He also perished, and all, even as many as obeyed him, were dispersed.
Yeah, where's that?
Acts chapter 5, verse 37.
All right, Acts 5 and 37.
In verse 38, it says, at the end, it will come to naught.
Yes, this is it right here. All right. So boom. Let's get Acts chapter 5, verse 33. All right. I'll read it. It says, when they heard that, they were cut to the heart and took counsel to slay them. Then stood there up one in the council, a Pharisee named Gamaliel, a doctor of the law, had in reputation among the people, and commanded to put the apostles forth a little space, and said unto them, ye men of Israel, take heed to yourselves what ye intend to do as touching these men. For before these days rose up Theudas, boasting himself to be somebody, to whom a number of men, about 400, joined themselves, who was slain, and all as many as obeyed him were scattered and brought to naught. After this man rose up Judas of Galilee in the days of the taxing, and drew away much people after him. He also perished, and all, even as many as obeyed him, were dispersed. And now I say unto you, refrain from these men, and let them alone, for if this counsel or this work be of men, it will come to naught. But if it be of God, ye cannot overthrow it, lest haply ye be found even to fight against God. And to him they agreed, and when they had called the apostles and beaten them, they commanded that they should not speak in the name of Jesus, and let them go. Everybody understands? Meaning, when you're someone in authority and somebody on the lower level is rising up, let them rise up. Just let it play itself out. We ain't got to do nothing to them. We ain't got to hurt them. Let's just let this thing run its course. You understand what I'm saying?
Right.
Or you could kill somebody, which means now you've created a martyr, and now you've given people the inspiration to rally behind this person,
Right.
Which is what happened with Christ.
Right.
At the time of Christ's death, he only had the disciples.
True.
They could have let that man just let him do his thing. But no, they knew the threat. They were threatened by him so much that they had him put to death. Having him put to death magnified his work. Having Christ put to death meant they signed, they sealed their fate by doing that. So during the days of Moses and Pharaoh didn't want to kill Moses because what Moses is going to do?
Right.
This nigga ain't no threat. Who the hell is he? He just a nigga. Also keep in mind this: Moses never spoke a word to Pharaoh.
It was
Aaron was doing all the speaking.
Right.
Moses is there in his garment, garbed up. Moses whispered to Aaron. Then Aaron go and speak with a loud voice and say what the Lord is saying. You understand? That partially maybe is what hardened Pharaoh's heart.
He like, this nigga won't even
speak to me. This nigga ain't even gonna talk. This nigga, who the nigga think he is? The Lord hardened Pharaoh's heart. Everybody understand? But in the midst of all of that, the oppression was great on the children of Israel in Egypt. You understand? Let's get
It's like,
come on
before we go back, so, because in verse 40, when it says that they beat them, right, and command them they should not speak in the name of Yahweh Shah, is that like today, like when, people get big, and then I guess, like, they take the payoff kind of? I mean, I know these brothers was beaten and commanded not to speak, but you know how they get us up there, to these high positions, and they do stuff to us and tell us like you can't say certain things or do certain things.
Well, okay, that's what they thought it was. They thought they could scare these brothers.
Right.
The whole being before the council, talking about putting them to death. Then this brother Gamaliel speaking up, and they saying, you know what, you right. We just beat these niggas and tell them y'all better not do that again. They thought that they could. They thought this was nothing. This rebellion, this rising up was a small thing. So let them niggas go, man. Don't even sweat them niggas, man. They ain't gonna do shit. Who was they? You right. They beat them up a little bit. Hey, man, don't let us catch y'all talking about this your house shot shit no more. Y'all let that shit go. You understand? We find out y'all still out here teaching. We gonna deal with y'all. And they let the disciples go. The disciples, though, nigga, the Lord with us. Right. That boldened them even more. That made them even stronger. You understand? Right. But they thought that by beating them, they could scare these brothers, put the fear of God in these brothers, but they didn't understand what they were dealing with. You understand? It's the same as us going to camp, and we get locked up 1 week for sound, the speaker being too loud or whatever the case may be. They think, oh yeah, we locked them up, we got some paperwork on them, then we come out the next week doing the same thing.
Right. But these were Israelites that beat them, right?
Yes, these were Israelites. But think about it. Okay, we in the city of Memphis, Tennessee, right? If we go out there to speak on the corner, what police you think will come out there and try to shut us down? Ain't gonna be Edomite police. It's gonna be Israelites. So that's, again, when you operating under an oppressor, your own people ain't even your own people.
Right.
And that's how it was with the Pharisees and Sadducees. They were Romans in a sense. They were extensions of the Roman government.
Gotcha.
So Christ was coming up against the Roman government when he's coming up against them. Christ was put to death under Roman government law, right, not under Israelite law. They had to go to the Roman cat to get permission to put Christ to death. Pilate. They had to go to Pilate to get permission to put Christ to death. They couldn't do it themselves. Right. So that goes to show you these was Israelites, but they're operating as Edomites. They operating as devils. Everybody understands. All right. Let me see something. All right, let's get on. Hold on, let's get All right, let's get Exodus chapter 12 and let's go to verse 10. All right. Let's get chapter 11. Exodus chapter 12, verse 11.
Exodus chapter 12, verse 11. And thus shall ye eat it, with your loins girded, your shoes on your feet, and your staff in your hand, and ye shall eat it in haste. It is the Lord's Passover.
Everybody understands the instructions the Most High gave to Israel the night of the Passover was to eat it with your loins girded, your shoes on your feet, and your staff in your hand, and you shall eat it in haste. This wasn't a relaxing dinner.
Right.
This wasn't a laid back, dinner for the family. This was a tense, hurried, scarf it down meal. Because the meal was eaten in the spirit of, at any moment, we got to be ready to roll. We got to be ready to fight. We get something going down tonight. Nobody knew what was going down that night, but they knew what was going down. Right. So everybody's on alert. Everybody is is a high tense situation. That's what your life is prior to the Passover. You understand? And the same way that the angel came through and passed over Israel that night, and that tension was released, that's what the Passover is like for all of us today. The spirit of the Passover is always going to be alive as long as there is an oppressor and as long as Israel is in captivity. And being able to gather together with your brothers and sisters will always be the reminder that the same way we got out of that captivity, man, the Lord won't get us out of this one. Everybody understand? Come on. And it's necessary to have that. It's necessary to remember that life is always going to give you difficulties. It's always going to be stressed. It's always going to be challenges. It's always going to be unsurety, because that is what keeps you standing with your loins girded and your shoes on and your staff in your hand. Like, it's a saying that I've seen recently. It said, it's I don't know if it's an actual quote from somebody, but it said, hard times make hard men. Hard men make good times. Good times make good men. Good men make hard times. Everybody understand? Right. It's like a cycle. It's right. Good time makes good men. Peace time creates peaceful men.
Oh yeah.
Right?
Oh yeah.
Peaceful men create times of war because they so goddamn peaceful. Somebody gonna come and challenge your peaceful ass.
Right.
You so peaceful, you don't know how to fight. You don't know how to deal with the difficulty that comes with being challenged. So now these peaceful men create war. And now that war is here, there's a generation that will rise up in that war who are warriors. Then when those warriors become men, they go to war and fight for peace.
Right.
Then the warriors that fought to make peace give birth to a generation of peaceful men, and now the cycle repeats itself. Back again. Well, the Passover was a time where the children of Israel were in the midst of war, and the Lord came through. The Lord had to create the peace. The Lord had to create. You understand? The Lord dealt with the war and the peace all in one swoop, and because of that, it paved the way for us to raise up a generation to never forget what the Lord did for us. Right. Everybody understand? Come on. We as a people have to know that in the midst of a time of war, you need warriors. And that's where we are now. We're in the midst of a time of war. And the warriors that we are raising are those who will never forget that the Lord is the one who delivers us. We got to be ready for the battle. Got to be ready for the fight. Got to have our shoes on and our loins girded and our staff in our hand, but knowing that if the Lord is with me, then there's nothing that I can't defeat. Everybody understands. Let's just keep reading on in Exodus chapter 12.
Verse 13. And the blood shall be to you for a token upon the houses. Oh, Salaki, I skipped something. Mm-hmm. Verse 12. For I will pass through the land of Egypt this night, and will smite all the firstborn in the land of Egypt, both man and beast. And against all the gods of Egypt I will execute judgment. I am the Lord.
Everybody understand? The Most High came through and destroyed the Egyptians that night. Come on with it, bro.
I'm glad we read this scripture right here. Verse 12, right? Come. At the end, when it says, and against all the gods of Egypt. So I saw something the other day that said that the curses that the Most High was putting on Egypt was exactly to like spite and show that the gods of Egypt had no power. Yeah. So like bringing on the frogs, and he blocked the sun out, which is, blocking Ra, showing Ra that he ain't got no power, and killing all these different animals. Like, was that what that was, or?
Yes, all of the plagues of Egypt were definitely
to show Pharaoh and them like your
to gods. Show that their gods had no power.
So it was like what they call a double entendre.
It was like, you can put it like that. Understand this. The Egyptians were a people that personified everything.
Right.
Everything was given a human quality. The Nile River was the river of life, and the whatever, the damn sun was the Ra and the God, and hell, the frogs and everything, the fish, all of it was symbolic of some type of thing that they worship.
Right.
The Lord killed everything, dealt with all of it at one time. Where your God's at now? Stop the locusts. Stop the beetles. Stop the cows from the disease and the boils. Where your God's at? Call on your gods to stop it. That's what, again, all of that is what hardened Pharaoh's heart. And then remember, while all these things are happening to Egyptians, they're not happening to Israelites.
Right.
That's why it's hardened Pharaoh's heart. His anger was it's the Lord. His hardening Pharaoh's heart was triggering an emotional response that he could not control. And if you look at your life, if you look at the world today, that is what is plaguing many people, is their inability to control their emotions. That's the Lord. The Lord did that. Gun violence in the black community. The Lord did that. Some cat get in an argument with a cat. They argue and they fight. He lose a fight. He go to the car, come get the gun and blow your brains out. The Lord did that. Right. Something inside of him said, "You got to kill that nigga. Right? You can't. You gonna let that nigga whoop your ass, and they got it on video. You gonna walk around. You gonna be a bitch your whole life. You gonna let everybody think you a sucker. Now, if you just pause for a second, so what? I lost a fight. Right. It's a fight, nigga. Niggas lose fights. Like, who cares? Fuck the nigga. I'm walking. I'm breathing. Right, I ain't dead. Damn, let it go. Right. Yeah, they might laugh at me. Say, hey, I gotta see the nigga again. Who cares? It'll be okay. You gonna throw your life away because you lost a fight because a nigga punched you and you went down? That's crazy. Damn, just let it happen. Hey, it is what it is. Right. You gonna get a gun and go blow his brains out. Now he's dead. His mother lost a son, brothers lost a brother, his children lost a father, and now you finna go to prison. So your mama lost a son, your brothers lost a brother, your children lost a father too. Because you got punched in the mouth and fell. That's crazy. The Lord killed that nigga. Yeah. The Lord put you in jail. Yeah. Because you did not have control over your emotions. You let Satan play you. Everybody understand? Don't. And guess what? You can't blame God. You can't say the Lord made me angry. No, nigga. You could have said, you know what? Let me let this go. The consequences are too great. I gotta take this one. Everybody understands? Yes, sir. All right, let's get on. I'm looking for a scripture in Wisdom of Solomon. Hold up. Bear with me. All right, hold on. All right, let's hold on. All right, let's get Wisdom of Solomon, chapter 18. Let me see something. Hold on. It's like Wisdom of Solomon, the Apocrypha 18. We're going to start at verse 6. And we're going to read down verse 19. No, we're going to 6 down to verse 13. I'll read it, all right? This is Wisdom of Solomon, chapter 18, verse 6, going on down to verse 13. And this is important for us to know about the Passover and understand about that night. And this there's a reoccurrence of this every year that we gather to remember the Passover, that we gather to keep this high holy day. The Passover is more than just a get together. It's more than just a family reunion. It's more than just a barbecue where we eat lamb and we wear beautiful garments. Everybody understands? It's absolutely rehearsing the righteous act of standing for the Lord at a time when he determined to destroy our enemies. Everybody understands? And as more of us gather together and more of us stand in the truth and more of us stand with the Most High, we are showing him that we understand and we respect and we desire to see this day again. Everybody understands? So this is Wisdom of Solomon, chapter 18, starting at verse 6. It says, "Of that night were our fathers certified afore, that assuredly knowing unto what oaths they had given credence, they might afterwards be of good cheer." What does that mean? That night of the Passover, they were promised before that night that if they stood with the Lord, there would be things to celebrate. There would be things to thank the Most High for. Everybody understands? Verse 7. So of thy people was accepted both the salvation of the righteous and the destruction of the enemies. We accepted that by serving the Lord, we would be saved and our enemies would be destroyed. That is what you agree to when you obey the Lord. You agree to being delivered. You also agree to the destruction of those who would harm you. Everybody understand? Verse 8. For wherewith thou did punish our adversaries, by the same thou did glorify us whom thou hast called. And that angel coming down and destroying the enemies that night also was an angel that came down and delivered us out of the hands of the Egyptians. You cannot have one without the other. You cannot have the love of God's people without hate for those who would harm them. You cannot have deliverance of a people who are in oppression without the destruction and removal of the oppressor. Everybody understands? There is no fairy tale world where we all just get along and everybody is okay and we put the past in the past. That's not reality. That's not how life really works on the earth. Everybody understands? Verse 9. For the righteous children of good men did sacrifice secretly. That's what we're doing every day of the year. You're going through your life. You're struggling in this world. You know, you're doing the things the Lord said to do. You're showing up to class. You're teaching class. You're going to camp. You're loving your woman and raising your children. And you're avoiding all of the evil that's trying to trap you out here in the world. You are sacrificing secretly. Everybody understands? And with one consent made a holy law. What was that holy law? The holy law the night of the Passover was to kill that lamb. Was to put that blood on the door, was to put their shoes on and to be girded up and to have their staff in their hand and to eat the food quick. Everybody understand? That the saints should be like partakers of the same good and evil. The fathers now singing out the songs of praise. That night in that room, we decided we're going to stand with the Lord together. We're going to reap the benefits of standing with the Lord. And we also going to suffer the consequences of disobeying the Lord. Everybody understand? Verse 10, but on the other side, there sounded an ill-according cry of the enemies, and a lamentable noise was carried abroad for children that were bewailed. So while we in there accepting and making a pact that we're going to serve the Lord and do what the Most High said to do, and whatever come, man, we're going to be ready for it. On the other side, in all the houses of our neighbors who were not serving the Lord, we heard them crying. We heard the children wailing. You understand? We heard all the laments because of the death that was happening in those houses. Everybody understands? Verse 11, the master and the servant were punished after one manner. And like as the king, so suffered the common person, meaning there was no respect of persons that night. Everybody understands? So they all together had innumerable death with one kind of death. Neither were the living sufficient to bury them, for in one moment the noblest offspring of them was destroyed. Understand, the firstborn is the noble. Right. That's the one who gets the inheritance. That's the one who's the one who the family looks up to. All of them were taken away from Egypt that night. Think about the firstborn in all the families. That means somebody's father died. Yeah, that's what, somebody's uncle died. Somebody's cousin died. Somebody's brother died. Meaning the firstborn is dead now. In all the houses all over Egypt, there was not one house where there was not a dead person. And that person who was dead was the one the family looked up to. The noble of the family. Everybody understands? Verse 13. For whereas they would not believe anything by reason of the enchantments, upon the destruction of the firstborn, they acknowledged this people to be the sons of God. Everybody understands? That's what happened on the night of the Passover. And that is what we are embracing and embodying when we celebrate the Passover. Everybody understand? Now, every year, every brother can't make it to the Passover. Some brothers, you got wives that's pregnant, wives that just gave birth, they're not going to be able to make it. Some brothers is jammed up, you got health situation, you know what I'm saying, or you jammed up financially, you might not be able to make it. But just know that this Passover, every year that it comes around, is an opportunity for your spirit to be rejuvenated, for you to gather with your people, for you to get the relief in your soul that is necessary for you to keep pushing and keep fighting and to keep clawing ahead in this world that we live in. Everybody understands? Don't let the world hold that back from you. Don't let anybody take that from you. Everybody understands? Because it is what is required in order for us to understand and to know that the same way the Lord did this for us before, he will do it for us again. And we're living in the time where the Lord doing it for us again is growing ever more closely. Everybody understand? But all of the stuff going on in this world, you're going to need lessons like this to just remember that in the moment where it seems like it's the darkest, that's when the Most High is close. Everybody understands? Any questions before we close out? All right, with that, with the Israelite School of Universal Practical Knowledge out of 1 West 125th Street in Harlem, New York. Since 1969, we've been teaching so-called blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians the truth according to the Bible. What is the truth? The truth is that so-called blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians descend from the greatest people that have ever walked the face of the earth. The Bible identifies us as the lost 12 tribes of the nation of Israel. In the year 2024, there's nothing more important than for so-called blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians to know the truth of who we are, where we come from, and what our purpose is on the earth. With that being said, address to the school is 3000 Walnut Grove Road, Suite 215. Again, 3000 Walnut Grove Road, Suite 215. All you brothers and sisters out there, you got family, loved ones, people you care about in the Memphis, Tennessee, and surrounding areas, get them in contact with the ISUPK. Passover is next week. Next Saturday, the Passover is coming up. You brothers and sisters have not paid your Passover fees yet. Try to get those Passover fees paid as soon as possible. They moved the venue of the Passover. I got a new address. Be looking for an announcement online. There's a new venue for the Passover. But brothers and sisters, I know it's a trying time. I know it's difficult for everybody. I know money is short, time is short. But if you're able, find your way to the Passover. Find your way in the building down there in North Carolina to gather with your brothers and sisters so that you can be in the room as we remember what it is the Lord did for our people all those years ago, and we prepare for the Lord to do it for us in this time. With that, shalom, Israel.